Hello, this is Anviti. Welcome to the news with NDTV. It's Thursday, February 13th, and coming up in today's episode, rumblings in India Bloc intensify as Thackeray faction attacks Sharad Pawar over Eknath Shinde felicitation, and Shiv Sena schedules emergency meetings with Aam Aadmi Party and Congress. Opposition alleges erasure of parliamentary values during JPC bill discussion, while JP Nadda calls them anti-national. Prime Minister Modi's US visit and UN report accuses Sheikh Hasina government of crimes against humanity. Is Aaditya Thackeray trying to broker peace between India Bloc allies amid developing fault lines and repeated election losses? Key India Bloc meetings are happening back-to-back in the aftermath of Delhi election on the invitation of Mr. Thackeray, who is facing some serious political crisis in his own state. To begin with, a day after Sharad Pawar's move to felicitate Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra Eknath Shinde at a function in New Delhi, the political row has escalated. After Sanjay Raut, now Aaditya Thackeray has also expressed his displeasure over the felicitation, saying traitors shouldn't be recognized. He said, "I don't know about Pawar's principle, but it is not in our principle to give traitors and backstabbers any recognition." Sanjay Raut had earlier said honoring those who divided Maharashtra was a blow to the state's identity and self-respect. Mr. Thackeray, son of former Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, claimed that a person who is anti-Maharashtra is also anti-India. The Mahavikas Aghadi includes Shiv Sena Uddhav Bal Thackeray, Congress, and NCP Sharad Pawar. It has been in disarray since Mr. Pawar honored Shinde with the Mahatma Shinde Rashtra Gaurav Puraskar. Mr. Shinde, who led a rebellion within the Shiv Sena in 2022 and helped topple Uddhav Thackeray's government, has been labelled a traitor by the Thackeray faction already. This is the latest in a series of rifts between the Lok Sabha allies united under the joint opposition umbrella India Bloc in 2024. The fault lines developed after India Bloc's disastrous performance in Maharashtra election, where BJP-led NDA won a historic mandate. Then Delhi and Haryana also saw BJP soaring high, where India Bloc members like Aam Aadmi Party and Congress falling down. Maybe in an effort to solidify the rocking foundation, Mr. Thackeray met Congress leader Rahul Gandhi in New Delhi late Wednesday. Sources suggest that during the meeting, Mr. Thackeray and Mr. Gandhi discussed concerns related to the Election Commission's role in the election process, a common ground on which these parties also attacked the Bharatiya Janata Party several times during election campaigns for both the State Assembly as well as Lok Sabha. Following his meeting with Rahul Gandhi, Aaditya Thackeray is now set to meet former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. The Aam Aadmi Party recently faced a setback in the Delhi Assembly election, where the BJP secured 48 out of 70 seats, while Aam Aadmi Party won just 22, helping BJP return to power in the national capital after a gap of almost 3 decades. Congress continued its poor performance, failing to win any seat for the third consecutive election season. Aam Aadmi Party has accused Congress of sabotaging its chances in at least 13 Delhi constituencies, leading to further speculation about tensions between the two parties despite their national-level alliance. Adding to the trouble, Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee announced her Trinamool Congress will contest Bengal elections in 2026 without the Indian National Congress, which led to backhanded attacks between both the parties. Opposition versus government ruckus over the Waqf Amendment Bill intensified in the Rajya Sabha today. After a round of allegations, sloganeering and walking into the well, the opposition walked out. Inside the House, BJP chief JP Nadda claimed that opposition is anti-national and trying to break the country. The opposition maintains that everything that happened in the process is anti-parliamentary proceedings as well as democratic values. The contentious bill, which resulted in widespread chaos in the parliament when it was first tabled in the parliament last year, was sent to a joint parliamentary panel for deliberation where it was cleared this year. However, opposition maintains they were steamrolled into clearing the amendments in the bill, as the panel had 16 BJP NDA members and only 11 opposition members, meaning any proposals by the opposition would have been in the minority by default. They claimed none of the opposition proposals were taken into account and all of the 44 amendments were that of the ruling alliance. The bill was tabled in the Rajya Sabha today, where the opposition staged a walkout and heavily opposed the bill. Trinamool claimed later that the dissent note was censured. On the JPC Waqf Board report dissent, they asked how will people know what their objection was of the several MPs if the dissent notes are being deleted. However, in the House Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju claimed it was not deleted. Leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge claimed the procedure was not being followed. BJP chief JP Nadda angrily claimed the opposition never wanted a discussion. They wanted to indulge in appeasement politics and they are anti-national and only interested in appeasing to the minorities. He particularly called out Congress and alleged the grand old party wants to break the country apart. He said some opposition members are trying to fight the state of India, which could be a dig at a previous statement by leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha Rahul Gandhi, where he claimed that power structures in India have been overtaken by BJP and RSS and that fight is against the state of India itself. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Washington, D.C. for a 2-day key visit to meet President Donald Trump, marking their first bilateral meeting since Trump's second term began last month. The visit comes as Trump has taken a hardline stance on tariff and immigration, both of which are expected to be discussed. Prime Minister Modi was warmly welcomed by the Indian American community at Blair House, the US presidential guest house. Despite freezing temperature and rain, the community gathered to chant Bharat Mata Ki Jai Vande Mataram, waving Indian and American flags in support. A key focus of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit will be to prevent punitive trade actions by the US against India. Trump has on multiple occasions called India the tariff king. Following Trump's recent announcement of a 25% tariff on global steel and aluminum imports, Indian firms are expected to face challenges. Prime Minister Modi is likely to discuss ways to avoid high tariffs, expand trade, and strengthen economic ties. Other topics on the agenda include investment, energy, defense, technology, and immigration. Prime Minister Modi and President Trump are also expected to discuss regional issues, such as the situation in Indo-Pacific, Ukraine, and developments in West Asia. In the early hours of his visit, Prime Minister Modi met US Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who was recently confirmed by the Senate. They discussed enhancing cooperation between India and US in counter-terrorism, cybersecurity, and emerging threats. Prime Minister Modi congratulated Gabbard on her confirmation and posted on social media, quote, met US's Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard in Washington, D.C., congratulated her on her confirmation, discussed various aspects of India-USA friendship, unquote. Prime Minister Modi is also scheduled to meet billionaire Elon Musk at the White House and other business leaders to further strengthen ties between India and US businesses. This is Prime Minister Modi's 10th visit to the United States and his 4th with Trump as president. In 2024, he was hosted by President Biden during a ceremonial state visit. Prime Minister Modi's first visit to the US as the Prime Minister was in 2014, when Barack Obama was president and Prime Minister, and Narendra Modi was elected as the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi's arrival follows a recent trip to France, where he co-chaired Artificial Intelligence Action Summit with French President Emmanuel Macron. He is expected to hold high-level discussions with President Trump at the White House. Bangladesh government committed serious human rights violations amounting to crimes against humanity, with over 1,400 people dying under former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government, a UN report claims. The United Nations report, released on Wednesday, accuses Hasina's government of systematically attacking and killing protesters as it fought to maintain power last year. The violence, which escalated from protests over civil service job quotas to widespread calls for Hasina's resignation, is said to have been carried out by security forces, Hasina's Awami League Party, and other government-backed groups. According to the UN Human Rights Office, there are reasonable grounds to believe that the government was responsible for crimes such as murder, torture, arbitrary imprisonment, and other inhumane acts against civilians. The report highlights the violence which was a part of, quote, widespread and systematic attack, unquote, on protesters and civilians during a 45-day period between July 1st and August 15th of 2024. The OSCHR estimates that as many as 1,400 people may have been killed, with most of them shot by security forces. Children make up to 12 to 13% of the victims. Volker Turk, the UN rights chief, stated, and I quote, "The top echelons of the previous government were aware and in fact were involved in very serious violations." Hasina, who fled into exile in neighboring India, has defied an arrest warrant for crimes against humanity, which she faces in Bangladesh. Muhammad Yunus, Bangladesh's interim advisor leader of a caretaker government, welcomed the United Nations findings and expressed his commitment to transforming Bangladesh into a country where its people can live in security and dignity. Yunus had requested the UN investigation into the violence. The report indicates that the violent crackdown was coordinated by security forces, which supported the government's efforts to suppress growing opposition. Quote, "The brutal response was calculated and well-coordinated strategy by the former government to hold on to power," unquote, said Turk. The OHCHR also documented instances of lynchings and retaliatory violence by protesters against police and Awami Lynch supporters. In addition to the killings, the report highlighted widespread arbitrary arrests, torture, and abuse, including gender-based violence and the killing of children. Local rights group Odhikar reported that several people have died in detention since Hasina's ousting, but Turk clarified that the UN investigation only covered events up to mid-August. While the UN praised the interim government's cooperation, it warned of significant challenges in Bangladesh's legal system. The UN is willing to cooperate with Bangladesh's judiciary to ensure justice, but insists the process must meet international fair trial standards. The use of capital punishment in the country also remains a concern. The UN emphasized the need for comprehensive process of truth-telling, healing, and accountability to prevent future human rights violation and ensure justice for the victims. That's all for today. You were listening to the news with NDTV, your daily newspaper and TV bulletin wrapped in a compact podcast. If you want to catch up with the day's events in a hurry, do remember to subscribe to the News with NDTV on Apple, Spotify, and the NDTV News app. This is your host Anviti, signing off.